Today's video discusses shorts unwinding $184 per share. This video features Michael Burr expecting short squeezes and more. First, we're looking at record-breaking box office, concessions Monday, popcorn pass, and no AMC stock news. This was an earlier picture of AMC's performance and news to watch. We had so many things occurring, especially with Wicked for Good, Zootopia, and other movies. We don't see how they're linking that to AMC. Search AMC News, as I did before starting this video. News on the new popcorn pass. Now, but the fact that it's only news on this popcorn pass and not how the box office is doing, and how AMC is capitalizing on that says a lot about how scared these articles, institutions, and companies are to let people know what's actually happening with AMC. They're afraid to let people know the truth to realize that AMC is finally showing why they deserve to be the number one in this industry, and especially that they're benefiting saying that gets them said. I mention it because I know how strong even tiny AMC increases are. Because this amusing statistic shows that if AMC moves plus 1.77% every trading day for a year, it will be $184 per share. Who knows? A faster path to that level may exist. UBS's 23 million share buy may have influenced that route. Compound interest should be familiar to everyone by now, or at least to those viewing the stocks and finance video. If AMC rises 1.77%, it can reach $184, but that's assuming it rises 1.77%. Today, AMC and the movie and theater industry are where institutions and capital are looking because the box office is improving, the market is volatile, and people want to invest in a safer space that is still growing. I didn't say this. Data, publications, and other things have revealed why the movie industry is recession-proof compared to other industries. AMC is one of these industries that is undervalued and performing well. Not that the others aren't, but AMC leads in undervalue and advancements. At situations like this, AMC might want ring daily, let alone 1.77%. Naturally, problems will arise. The biggest issue will be dark pool because AMC should see greens every day until they find an acceptable price. We discussed this. I'm not saying AMC should be $100 billion without a pinch. The current market must be considered. Include synthetics. Therefore, it may be a $100 billion market cap or greater. Just talking about AMC's fundamentals doesn't mean it should reach $100 billion, but we recognize its value. We know it is incredibly undervalued. However, dark pool is the only reason we haven't witnessed price discovery. AMC can easily reach $184, as seen below, and the industry makes it possible. When short and distort continue the bankruptcy narrative, it's ludicrous. 2019 is less efficient than AMC. The movie industry keeps going. Our debt fell. Added revenues generate cash. I believe more than ever. Company future matters to me. Despite all these movies doing well and the box office doing well, you're not seeing much positive news on AMC because people are still focusing on the bankruptcy narrative. AMC has exhibited no symptoms of bankruptcy. When AMC closed 5 years ago, there was no revenue. This was a valid concern, but as of right now, especially seeing how they're operating and one of the key words is being efficient, we understand that AMC is improving. And so we're not afraid of any bankruptcy articles because we know that these articles are solely being produced to scare people into selling AMC and to stay away from AMC. What would you do if you inherited an uncoverable short AMC position, as seen here? Before the voting record date, UBS buys 4% of AMC flow for $3. No on December 10th might mean Chapter 11. We're looking at two things. First, we discuss UBS's current situation. They inherited AMC swaps from Credit Source, which are chewing them up. Therefore, UBS had to raise its margin requirements. You know, they have to acquire stronger regulations to properly manage risk. All this happened when they inherited Credit Suisse. We knew AMC and GME hazardous swaps brought down Credit Suisse. UBS's large AMC purchase should indicate how they plan to defend themselves. Another perspective is that short sellers who are stuck too deep may never get out. If they buy AMC shares, they can't leave unless every individual investor sells or AMC goes bankrupt. They can reduce losses but not eliminate them. UBS may be one. They may make horrible decisions now that they have 4% since they can vote with it. Thus, we must also examine this. Everyone should keep this in mind. And we previously discussed the idea that UBS is willing to acquire so much AMC at a time when they're highly unstable and seeing all these things crumbling down. It proves they appreciate AMC. They recognize AMC's potential. The first brand might cause UBS credit funds to lose at least 10% of their investors' money. We discussed UBS's hedge fund liquidation due to recent risk exposure. We've discussed how UBS must carefully manage risk since they can no longer afford to make mistakes. Their money must be carefully managed. Due to past mistakes, they must ensure that their present investment will return their money. This strengthens why we said that if UBS is willing to buy into AMC, you should understand why we said that AMC is doing well, especially when all these articles are telling you to stay away and sell AMC. But institutions like UBS are buying. AMC gains momentum off exchange volume spikes, as we indicated before, in the 74% range in the dark pools. Please repeat that this is standard price discovery, which is why AMC isn't seeing it. As mentioned, AMC moving 1.77% daily is pretty simple. It is highly possible. We stated it's challenging because we're facing a 74% off exchange, not because it's not worth it. When we see something like these, you should see why we say there is no price discovery. Because Ames Entertainment is about 73%, see S&P 500 is 47%, and Cineoc is 45%. Here you can compare what's happening. In addition to hiding by orders, Dart Bull can hide short orders, which can be dumped later. Genius Group has discussed this and launched a lawsuit. This is why we argue we must keep the same comparison between AMC and cinemas. If we compare Cineoc at 73% to AMC Entertainment at 45%, we can see the value difference. And Cinema 120% institutional owned, AMC 95% retail owned. There are so many factors that tell us why this price comparison isn't fair and why we aren't seeing true price discovery for AMC. ETF GME was deleted on Red Shar after 19 days owing to major delivery problems, which is suspicious. FDDS is another ETF used to find GME shares, as we've discussed. Does the FDD list it because it was settled? Very unlikely. This happened with AMC. GME has done this before. This is remarkable since Michael Burr really made a message. So he goes recall GME, bet you didn't know this, and exhibits a letter between the ones he sent in from his firm and an email he got from Keith Gill, who is obviously roaring kitty about it being devalued. We need to know why he's doing this, especially since he just released it. We knew he was shorting the market. He's fighting major institutions that want the market to rise because he recognizes what's happening. First, let me clarify. Legendary investor Michael Burr the Big Shaw is posting about GME again and includes a deep value email from Roaring Kitty. His return is odd because GameStop stock is in the low 20s, which many consider deep value. He realized the value there, and we talk about how many institutions are investing in AMCs and GME because they realize its value. People realize not only is it deep value, but also because of how undervalued it is compared to the market, which obviously translates to deep value. Michael Burr doing it at times like this should really show you what it means, because when you see everything that's going on right now, initially Michael Burr opened a massive short on NVIDIA. Let's talk about collateral instead than politics, because we know how NVIDIA is used as collateral. We know that one of these huge equities, NVIDIA, has been utilized as collateral for these big institutions, which is why we've talked about the correlation. In addition to taking a huge short on NVIDIA and Palantir, Michael Burry is now talking about GME's value. All of this suggests that he knows what's going on and expects a short squeeze, especially because he's shorting the collateral needed to keep AMC and GME low. Also consider the reverse repo, $2.2 billion. As mentioned, it's approaching zero. You shouldn't worry about the volatility, but at $2 billion, we're quite near to zero. It highlights the market's EI liquidity concern. Also, stock market could drop 80%. Warren's hedge fund mark, as we've discussed. So, there are numerous things to watch out for now. So many market cautions and signs of a big market catastrophe that might wipe out trillions of assets. Remember, trillions of dollars are disappearing in a zero-sum game. Once this $1 trillion are gone from the market, they'll move to equities like AMC and GME. We discuss devaluing because of that, so we discuss collaterals. Berkshire Hathaway's cash is roughly 30% of their assets, another sign. A huge caution indication. Another huge sign, Warren Buffett. But we covered that he's no longer CEO. But you should grasp their market timing. You should still grasp his market and company influence. And for them to avoid the market now, despite its glamour, right? These folks always talk about potential. AI stocks keep rising. They're keeping 30% of the cash despite this. That should illustrate what they're waiting